Well, hello out there, and I'm glad you're with me here Monday, and we're set to do some live question and answer. First of all, we've got some pictures to get to. We have people who sent in their pictures. The first one is, this is a beautiful BMW, I'm going to say Z3, because Liam lives in Seattle. So that is an American car, so it's a Z3. If he was north of the border here in Vancouver, it would be a Z3. What else do we have here? This is an interesting story. This car came from New York City, from Manhattan, and was driven all the way across rural United States and arrived here in Steveston, British Columbia. That is a GTI, of course, and the person that sent it goes by the name of Gotham. Gotham GTI, so I guess the car is from Gotham City, and nice whip to drive all the way across the country. And this happened just before COVID hit, so able to get the car here across the border and into Canada. Next up, this is Eric. He waited 5 months to get this Venza from Toyota, his first hybrid. Absolutely loves it, says it's much quieter and smoother than the RAV4, and that I would agree on. And then the last picture we have, this is a kind of a rare thing. It's a 2004 Crossfire. That is a Chrysler Crossfire with 42,000 kilometers on it. I would say that qualifies as a survivor. Very low K and a very cool car. Now, I'm sure, because you're all car people, you know exactly which car the Crossfire was based on, but please type below if you know. Kind of an interesting co-development between two brands. All right, let's get into our questions here. And the first one is from Velo City. Hey, Zach, what's your opinion on front license plate debate? Should they be mandatory for assisting law enforcement or scrap to save government money and manufacturing resources? I'm kind of split on this one. I get it. I don't like the look. I think for some cars, like for example, that new GV80 from Genesis with the big grille, you know, it looks so good without a license plate on the front. But then I'm kind of like, you know, we need to know who's driving these cars, but it seems to work in many jurisdictions. They don't have front license plates, so yeah, if they could do it, I say get rid of them. But then again, I also want to know who's driving these cars if anything goes wrong. Shouldn't be a debate. Only 4 provinces require front plates. I would say it's probably the other way around. I think it's 4 provinces don't require front plates. It's Saskatchewan, Alberta, Quebec, and I believe one more. Anyway, you guys can chat away there. John is here. Nice to see you, John. What's going on here? Why isn't it going? What's going on here? Oh, don't tell me this thing is breaking on me, because there we go. Missed the last couple due to work. Hope all is good on the West Coast. You know what happened last Monday? So I did the live show, then went up to have dinner, then I came back down to do some stuff for YouTube. You have to put in, you know, where the ads and things are going to drop. I tried to start up the computer. I could see that the screen was lit up. I could see the keyboard was lit up, but the screen had gone black. And I'm like, oh, crap. Sure enough, I take it into my laptop repair guy, and he says that the video card is fried. So $400 later, here we are, back in business. And I have a new video card. So hopefully it's all going to work fine. Grant is here. If you're hit and run, if you're a victim of a hit and run, the license plate doesn't stay behind. All right, I get that. Hey, Zach, having recently redriven multiple generations of 9011, which one would you say is the best for pure driving enjoyment? Well, there's so many variables when it comes to Porsches. Hello, come on in. Welcome to the show, Jack. Oh, what do you have for me there? Pacific Pilsner. Have a seat, Jack. People want to know. What's the score in the Canucks game?
I think it's 2-0.
2-0 for who?
Well, the Senators, so I think we know
The
who's
Senators?
winning. No, I'm saying it is the Senators, so
Oh.
I think we know who's winning.
So tell us about this sweatshirt.
Oh, it's like a Japanese artist collab with Drake.
With Drake.
Yeah,
You're a big Drake fan.
Yeah.
You like the OVO line.
I do.
That is a cool sweater.
Yeah, it was expensive, but
And so how much are these going for now used?
Yeah, I don't know. New's like 700.
But you didn't pay 700.
No, I paid like I got it at the store. Retail was like 250, I think.
And there were $700.
Yeah.
Wow. You are fancy. You are
Yeah, I
fancy,
guess
my
so.
friend. I don't have a shirt worth $700.
I didn't pay $700 for it.
All right.
So,
Thanks
yeah.
for the
All
video.
right. No
No
problem.
other sports?
March Madness, I guess.
Oh, yeah, March Madness.
Yeah. So.
We'll pick that up.
All right.
Thanks, brother.
Next week.
Next week, Jack. He's a good one. By the way, he paid for that sweatshirt on its own. I would never spend that kind of money on a sweatshirt. Oh, that's good. All right. Back to Vlogosphere. Having redriven multiple generations of 911, which one would you say is the best for pure driving enjoyment? Okay, now there are so many different levels of 911 power. There's a base Carrera, a Carrera 2, Carrera 4, a 4 like an S, a turbo, and so on. They all have something in common. They all, when you drive them, they feel like a Porsche 911. It's just varying degrees of how. I'll tell you the number one thing is, I don't really have an answer for you. What I can tell you is, without hesitation, how well the car has been maintained and how dedicated the previous owner was to keeping the car running well and investing money in the car, making sure you put on the right tires, have a good alignment, anything that needs fixed, getting it fixed. The biggest difference, because every Porsche that I drive, they all have a different character, and it comes down to the previous owner's dedication often to the maintenance. So you can get one era of 911 that hasn't been looked after, and you get another one that is absolutely immaculate, and it's amazing. Like this 996 Turbo I drove and put on the show last week, that car is absolutely pin straight. Like, it is just perfect. It drives like brand new, and I was really impressed with it. So I don't really have a direct answer for you, but there you go. Do I go with the Sierra Denali Duramax or the 6.2? Well, Scott's from Buffalo, I believe. Listen, it looks like fuel prices are heading up. Certainly have spiked where I live. I know you live in the U.S., so it's not as big an issue as it is north of the border. And diesel in Canada typically is cheaper than it is in the United States. For example, where I live, diesel is about 20 cents per liter less expensive. I will say that the 6.2 liter engine in those high-end SUVs and trucks from General Motors is fantastic. They have immense torque, immense horsepower, and immensely thirsty on gasoline. The diesel is not going to give you the same kind of experience behind the wheel. It's going to give you a similar experience, but not the same. However, you're going to save so much more in fuel. And from what I'm hearing here anyway, a lot of people are waiting to get their hands on the diesel. What I like about it, on some trims, it's a no-cost upgrade to go from the 6.2 to the inline 6-cylinder. If it was me personally, I wouldn't hesitate. I would get the diesel. Just because I think diesels and large SUVs are a marriage made in heaven. You get all of the torque, and you get the towing capacity and all that kind of stuff. Plus, you get much, much better fuel economy. Now, if your wallet will justify the fuel load of the 6.2, that is fantastic engine. All right. Hi, Jack. Close. That was Jack a moment ago. 2018 Lexus NX F Sport or 2020 RAV4? 2018, I would probably say the Lexus. The Lexus, yeah. It's quieter, it's smoother, it's more refined. And that's one of the things about the new RAV4 is it's not quiet. So drive them both. So you're basically have the new RAV4 and then the last generation RAV4 platform that they modified into the NX. And we recently had the NX on the channel, and I came away impressed with it because I think that even though it's the older platform, they did a very good job with the suspension. So for me, I would probably say Lexus. Everybody's chiming in on the Mercedes, that the Crossfire. Let me see if I can find the picture again. We had the Crossfire there a moment ago. Have I got it again? No, I've lost it. Oh wait, pictures. Pictures, there we go. Ah, what the hell. I'm not going to try. Now I've gone and screwed it. Anyway, the Crossfire is a Mercedes, but which one? Which one? Oh, here we have it. Kevin's got it. The SLK. Correct. The SLK. Funny story. We had the Crossfire convertible when it first came years ago, like in the early 2000s. I went to go pick it up, and it was a convertible. And the guy phones me and he says, "Oh, don't come, don't come. There's something wrong with the roof." They put the roof halfway up, and it got stuck. And then they couldn't get it to move. And then they couldn't get it out of the underground parking lot because the roof was like up. So they finally got it out of the underground parking lot, and they sent it to the dealership. And it was there for months, well, not weeks, months. So hopefully yours is running better than that. All right, we do have a super chat on the bubble tonight. Beers on me. Well, cheers to that. I'll take that super chat all day long. And don't be shy. Super chat away if you please. Do people buy more fuel-efficient cars in Vancouver because of gas prices, or they don't care? There's two camps here in Vancouver. We've got this real sort of granola, much left of center viewpoint of the world by a section of our population, and they're the ones that have the hybrids and the electric cars and all that kind of stuff. And then we have this other group that is really status driven. Like if you want to see more high-end cars, more supercars, more luxury cars, pretty much per capita than anywhere I've ever seen, come to Vancouver. Well, certain neighborhoods, and you will see luxury car after luxury car after luxury car just rolling by, and you're like, holy smokes, I've never seen anything like it. So in Vancouver, we have the green crowd, and then you have the luxury crowd, and I wouldn't say it's a tie. I think the luxury crowd is winning. But then you have this joining in the middle, and those are the Audi e-tron, Tesla Model S owners, and the Model X owners. So we have this prestige and this green thing. But no, I wouldn't say that people are really driven by green. There's some people are, but not as many as you would think. Hey Zach, I saw you drop off a Land Rover Discovery at Curtis's ceramic shop. Oh, was that you yesterday, Henry? Yeah. So yeah, I had the Defender. No picture up there, but yeah, the Defender video is dropping on Saturday. Very interesting vehicle, very capable vehicle, very nice vehicle, very expensive vehicle. Anyway, so drop the video on Saturday morning. It looks like your sound and video aren't quite synced. This is a Google problem. It's not me. I check it before I go live. Everybody says, and then we get some people that say it's in sync and other people that say it's not in sync. It seems to be a YouTube thing, so I apologize. Okay, so it says sound and video aren't synced. How far off is it? Let me know below. Anything? No, nobody's saying. Let me know how you think. What you think. Any update on the VW Buzz? So that is the Volkswagen van, the electric Volkswagen van. From everything we're hearing, it is going to go into production. Just haven't heard when. Are you hyped for the Prologue X? Is that the new electric Toyota? Is that the one you're talking about? So I emailed. So all of the there was a drop from Toyota with a headlamp about this new vehicle that's coming, and the internet went crazy about the new electric car. So I emailed the PR person, the head of PR from Toyota Canada. I said, do you have any information on this? Can I get the images and the information? And I'll put out a quick video, edit a quick video. And he said, you pump the brakes on that. That is not for the North American market. It's a European car, not for us. Hi, do manufacturers watch your reviews and give you feedback? If so, has anyone ever complained about a review you did and threatened not to give you any more of their vehicles to review? That has not happened. I have never had auto manufacturers say, oh, we didn't like your review and we're not going to give you cars. In fact, I would say 99.9% of the time, like almost 100% of the time, I hear nothing from the car companies. You got to remember that, like, for example, Ford in Canada has 100 press vehicles that are out on the road across the country at any given time. And this is nothing compared to what they would have in the United States. So they have 100 vehicles out on loan any given week. They're not following every single person. So I don't get a lot. I did, however, get a very nice email from the head of PR from Honda and Acura last week after watching our Acura MDX video. He said, thank you very much for the honest review of the MDX. We appreciate it. He said, we like it too. We think it's going to do very well. And that's all I got. But no, don't really get anything from manufacturers. It's surprising, right? Every once in a while, when we're at an event, I'll see the PR person in person and they'll say, oh, we saw this or we like that. But really nothing really. T. Lau says, hey, Zach, long time, been busy, and I finally able to join your live show. My SQ5 is due to lease end, thinking of a 21 Grand Cherokee SRT. Your thoughts about choice and reliability? Well, get the SRT if you really want it while you can, because the SRT division is going away. Stellantis has canceled the SRT division. It's going to be interesting to see what they do, if they replace it or if they're just going to start phasing out those high performance variants of vehicles. If you look at the emissions and the regulations and where it's going, this might be sort of the final hurrah for the high performance, like Hellcat equipped pickup trucks and Jeeps might be going away. So it is a very cool vehicle. It loves gasoline. Holy crap, does it love to drink gas. And it's got very, very fat tires on it. So it does what's called tram lining. If you live somewhere that there's heavily rutted roads, so it'll catch the ruts in the roads, and it's called tram lining. It kind of tugs the wheel here and there. It's not the most relaxing car to drive. It's got one hell of an engine, makes great noise, and is fast, but as an everyday vehicle to live with, I'm not sure it would be my choice. You know what? You could just get a regular Hemi-equipped Grand Cherokee. That, with 370 horsepower, is a fantastic choice. But yeah, if you're really madly in love with it, go for it. I thought we had another super chat here. Just to see if there's another super chat. No, we've had two. So that's all we got. Two is good. And, okay, what's going on? The sync issue is off by about a second or so. Is everybody getting that? Because it seems to me whenever I say I'm out of sync, first of all, I'm out of focus. When I'm out of sync is, then some people say, no, it's fine. So it always seems to me that it's a Google thing. Ben says it's off a little but livable. Well, I apologize for that. All I do is try my best. Okay, to figure out where I was. Okay, here we go. Howie in the house. Just read the Mark 8 Golf R will have 10% torque reduction versus DSG. Does that mean horsepower will also be reduced? Disappointing as my Mark 7.5 Golf R will have more torque. I don't know anything about that. I'll have to find out. I didn't read anything about the Golf R torque reduction. Hey Zach, you and Andrea make an awesome team. Also, Nissan is adding a one. Okay, thank you. Appreciate the kind words. Oh, no front license plate required in New Brunswick. There you go. No, it's not the CLK for the Crossfire. It was the SLK. Hey, Zach, any significant difference between the CX-30 GS versus the CX-30 Turbo for a first-time car owner, family of two, and one puppy? yeah, if you can, I mean, to drive the 2.5 liter version of it and then to get the 2.5 liter turbo, if you're not super power hungry, it's actually a very good product because it's so small, right? So I would say drive them both and see if you can live with just the 2.5 liter, because I think it's a great engine and a great vehicle. And it would be, listen, if the turbo never existed, and that's all we got, it would still sell like crazy because it is a good product. So I say give it a try and see what you think. Do manufacturers watch reviews or really listen to reviewers? Yes, they do. They really do listen to the feedback they get on a constant basis. So what they'll do is they'll see themes, right? So if they watch and they watch reviews or videos, or they read written reviews, and they see a constant theme, sort of complaints or praise over many reviews, that feedback goes to the manufacturer, and a lot of times these things are corrected. The most diligent, in my opinion, are the Koreans. I remember being on the launch of the Veracruz, the Hyundai Veracruz, and we had Korean engineers with us, and they were asking us what we thought of the car, what we thought of the inside, the outside, and I pointed out on the back of the steering wheel there was this plastic piece, and it was a little bit sharp. They were on the phone to Korea within 2 minutes. It's quite amazing. Yeah, they pay attention. I watched your interview with the Mercedes-Benz technician on the MBUX system. It is still the best system. I really want one after watching. Yeah, I did that when I was on the GLE program. I also did an interview with one of the engineers for the Audi MMI Touch system when I was in South Africa for the A7 video. And it's good to get the sort of the idea from them about what they're trying to achieve. And yeah, the MBUX system really looks good. That's the thing I would say, is it's really something. All right, here's the follow-up. Hey, Zach and Andrew, you make an awesome team. Also, Nissan is introducing a new 1.5 turbo 3-cylinder for the Rogue. Pretty exciting. Yeah, are people really excited about getting 1.5 liter 3-cylinders? Ford has it in the Escape. Actually, the Escape here, the Escape Bronco, that vehicle, those two vehicles are available with the same size engine. I get it. What's happening? 3-cylinders have been around for a while now. I'm not sure I would love a 3-cylinder for long-term dependability. That could just be an internal bias. It might not be based on anything, but I don't know. It's just my thoughts. Love your show. Please comment on 50K mid-age crisis car. Well, first of all, BT Aurora, how much cash do you have to spend? Oh, a comment on a 50K 50,000 mid-age crisis car. It depends what you like. Like if you like a European car, I would get a Boxster S or a Cayman S. If it's just about fun and great handling, MX-5 Miata is a fantastic car, or a Mustang GT. Those are all good choices. Mustang GT is the best, maybe the best bang for the buck with 460 horsepower. You get one under 50, but just barely, with nicely equipped. If you are going to get one, you have to get it with the what's it called again? The magnetic ride controller, Magna Ride. Their updated suspension system makes a huge difference. All right. Hey, Zach, I have 60,000 budget, no commute. Top priorities are: 1, nice engine sound; 2, fun on public roads. Top choices is RS3, M2 non-competition, or 80s 911 SC, leaning towards the RS3 for that engine. I'm with you. Plus, it's rare. I think there's probably a lot less RS3s around than M2s. I see M2s quite a bit. And the 911 SC, as cool as it is, and as pretty as it is, and as needed as it is to say you have one, because it's a big part of owning an old air-cooled 911 is telling everybody you own one. Trust me, because I was one of those guys. It's an old car. It's not particularly fast in comparison, but if it was me, my choice would be RS3 manual, and that's just such a sweet, divine sounding engine. Yeah, and so if auditory note is of importance, I would say, yeah, the 911 SC with a modified modified exhaust would be fantastic. But yeah, I'd go RS3. Jim Carson is in the house. Nice to see you here. Appreciate that. Will we have a new Audi S3 hatchback in Canada or only the sedan? From what I'm hearing, it's only going to be sedan, which is a shame. Hayes Goodman, overall, what are your favorite one or two brands of tires that you've had good experiences with? Now, it depends on what the tire is for, right? If it's just a straight up performance tire, you can't go with like a Michelin, Michelin high performance tires are fantastic. I've had good for just general tires, not being too expensive. Toyo tires I like. For winter tires, I would say Nokian tires are some of the best. I've had we've got Dunlop winter tires on our Cayenne just now. They're not bad. It really depends on the car, right? Because the Cup 4 tires, the Michelin Cup 4 tires, are pretty hard to beat for the price. Went to drive a Q5 today. Pretty good all-rounder, but not great engine. We'll try the X3 next. Well, Mr. Josh from Montreal, it's interesting that you bring this up because today we just booked an X3. We're getting it tomorrow. And then in a few weeks, we get the Q5. So we're going to be going over these two cars. I would suggest that, you're driving a sort of performance sports sedan now. He's got an Infiniti Q50. If you're just about the handling, it would be the X3 in my opinion. But you're right, the Q5 is kind of like the good all-rounder. And I don't agree with you on the engine. I think the engine's fine. I think there's nothing wrong with the engine. It's maybe you're coming from a V6 equipped car into a 4-cylinder and it just doesn't feel the same. And that might be the case too with the BMW. Justin Off is checking in from Toronto. Nice to see you. What do you think about the Honda? Oh, sorry. What do you think about the Honda Insight? Is it worth the upgrade to 2021 only blind spot monitoring system? Well, that's a question only you have to answer. What do you care? I would suggest if you can get a great deal on a 2020, I would probably go for that. And that's where you want to go and check in with carcostcanada.com. Sign up using the promo code MotorMouth, because if there's a great deal on an Insight 2020 and it doesn't have blind spot monitoring, I would be okay with that because I don't like blind spot monitoring personally. I don't use it. I know how to check my blind spot and I know how to set my mirror. So for me, I would probably be driven by the value and not by having the newest and the latest. That's for you to decide. So check out Car Cost Canada and see what you can find out. Justin is saying, I did notice luxuries while I was there in Vancouver. Yeah, it's crazy. Like, it's the number of premium cars that are in Vancouver is like I don't really think there was one area in Atlanta that I went to. I'm trying to remember the name of it. Very high-end neighborhood in Atlanta, and there was like Bentleys and Rolls Royces and stuff all over the place. Now that was something to see, but just everyday cars that people drive here, a lot of premium cars. Jacob is saying, I wanted a Porsche Macan for a while. I'm to the point where I can afford one, but most likely only a low-end model. Am I better off to get a fully decked out Q5 or BMW or to get my money's worth? Well, this is a very good question. I would suggest that a loaded Q5 versus a sort of an entry Macan. Now, are you buying this or leasing this? Because if it's just strictly purchase, the best resale of the three will be the Porsche. It will hold its value the best. And we've seen that over the last few years, is winning Canadian Black Book Awards for its category. So If it's just a financial decision, then the Macan probably is the safest bet. However, I understand what you're saying. So a base model with not much in it versus one that's got more stuff in it. That's really hard for me to do, because you have to figure that out for yourself. So the Q5 and the Macan have the same engine, okay? The Q5 doesn't really quite handle the same way, but it's not far off. But I think the BMW is pretty hard to beat because you get a nice combination of great engine, nice interior, good size, and it's the biggest of the three as well. So I really can't answer that for you. If it's just based on financial, then the Macan is probably the best choice. I'm so excited to see the production models of the Hyundai's EMP platform, especially the EV6, Kia, and the Genesis GV60. My 14 MDX has been great, but future seems to be electric. Tesla interior is boring. So it's quite interesting. There's been more articles I've read recently about Tesla, and some people really starting to wonder if the Tesla or nothing mantra that we've all been sort of questioning, because we've seen 80% market share in the United States dropped down to 69% market share in the last few months because Ford has come on with the Mach-E, the Mustang Mach-E, and it's taking sales directly from Tesla. Now, you know, if you watch this show regularly, I'm always saying the worry is that for people who are buying electric cars, it's going to be Tesla and they won't consider everything else. Well, we're starting to see that some people are considering other brands. So you're considering Hyundai and Kia, which is encouraging. That's encouraging for them. Ford seems to have some early success with the Mach-E. The ID4 is just coming on. So I think the fact that there's more and more competition in the EV space, and it isn't just going to be Tesla or nothing in the future, I think is really healthy for the auto industry, because good competition makes great products. But the big worry is that these manufacturers will spend hundreds of billions, not millions, but hundreds of billions of dollars to create all of these new electric cars. And if one manufacturer dominates, well, that's not really good for the industry, is it? So I agree with you. There's the new Hyundai platform that they're using on the Kia, Hyundai, and Genesis front is going to be exciting to see. The Volkswagen Group, from what I've read, is probably outside of Tesla the best positioned because they have they're farther down the road with a lot of their cars. They already have the best-selling electric vehicles in Europe do go to the Volkswagen Group. It's not Tesla, and we're starting to see much more competition in the Chinese market. So it's going to be interesting to watch. Hello from Calgary. With the CX-9, get a new design from the ground up with an optional V6, hopefully. Thanks. I don't think it's going to be a full ground up because this is built on the latest platform, their SkyActiv platform. They're probably going to modify it, and I don't think they're going to have a V6 engine because they're selling them without now. And the industry is going more towards them than away from them. So you're seeing more turbo four-cylinder engines in larger vehicles. So they kind of led the pack on that. I would say maybe there might be some option to do sort of mild hybridization to give it a little bit more power. But yeah, it's probably due to get refreshed, but I don't think there's a lot wrong with the product. I think there's a lot right with the CX-9. I think the CX-9, it looks good. I like the way it looks. It's got a fabulous interior. The engine seems to be up to the job. It handles well. It could be a little bit bigger in the third row, but other than that, I think it is actually a good product. It's probably due for a refresh, but the engine wouldn't be the top of my list of things to change. Is the QX50 2021 pure as an incredible lease rate, a good buy? Almost $150 cheaper per month than an RDX or Q5. Okay. Carlo from Montreal. The reason that you have such a good lease rate on the QX50 is it hasn't been a sales success, to put it mildly. They thought with this new model, I think it looks good. I think the design, I don't mind the interior except for the old screens that it has inside. And this is one of the things, yet again, you have to decide if you want the newest and the latest, or are you kind of happy just getting a deal. So there are a couple of things against that vehicle. One is it has a continuously variable transmission. Not the most exciting vehicle to drive. And it's got this new variable compression ratio engine. I'm not really that hung up on that, especially if you're going to be leasing it, like worrying about long-term reliability. So if you're going to be leasing it for 3 years and you can get a really good deal on a nicely equipped QX60, then or QX50, then why not? But it wouldn't be my choice. Just leave it there. Eddie Chin is saying they're coming out with a V8 Defender. Yes, they are. What are your thoughts on the new Wagoneer and the Grand Wagoneer? Well, they're going right up the grill of Escalade, and they have a body-on-frame vehicle based on a Ram platform and with opulent interiors. The price of this thing is going over $100,000. So there seems to be no lack of appetite for the high end of SUVs. Now, it's not a big market, but it's a very profitable market for car companies. So basically what you're taking, you're taking a pickup truck and turning it into a luxury SUV. And that's really what they do. Now, they don't just leave it there. They do fantastic interiors, much better features and those sorts of things. But there's high margin in those vehicles. So I think that's, I can't wait to drive it and see it. I think it looks pretty cool. The interior certainly looks gorgeous. But yeah, the proof is going to be when we get a chance to drive it. What are your thoughts on the new 2020 Mercedes-Benz C300? I was kind of hoping they could have done a little bit more with it. I mean, it looks like, from a distance, the same car. The interior has been modified heavily. Obviously, it looks more like a baby S-Class on the inside, but it's really an evolution of what they've already been doing. You can see the step was to the MBUX system with the screens going this way. Then they brought up the S-Class, and now there's bigger screen that is horizontal, and they've taken that and put it in this new C-Class. So I think they're really borrowing heavily on what they did with S-Class and putting it in. So maybe this is going to be the sedan look, and the MBUX system might be the SUV look. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I mean, the design isn't shocking, put it that way. It looks like you kind of expect. Is the RS5 worth the extra money over the S5? Your money? If it's your money, yeah. If it's my money, I don't know. But yeah, that is one hell of an engine. That RS5 is fantastic. So I got a chance to drive that car in Europe. We flew into Toulouse in southern France. We picked up the cars and then drove into the Pyrenees Mountains up into a very small country called Andorra. And we stayed overnight in this mountaintop hotel looking over a river valley. It was like surreal. And these roads are like this. You see the Tour de France where they cycle up these switchback roads like that? That's what we were driving on. And the car is awesome, the RS5. That engine, that 2.9 liter turbo with all that power is just fantastic. 450, I believe, in the RS5 is just beautiful. It sounds good, but it's an expensive machine. It looks good, though, too. So, I mean, that counts for something. But if it's your money, yeah, for sure, go for the RS5. How reliable is the Tiguan compared to the rest of the compact SUV class? Why is the RAV4 so popular when it's not the best rated like the CX-5 or CR-V? Well, it depends whose ratings you're looking at. If I was going to be a betting man and buy a vehicle just based on dependability and reliability, I would choose the Toyota. Because they've proven themselves over many decades to produce great cars. The Tiguan has improved. When it first came out, it really wasn't particularly reliable. They did have a lot of issues, but it seems to have been getting better over the last few years. Will you guys be reviewing the heavily refreshed 2021 Hyundai Santa Fe? Yes! We're waiting for it. It's coming on a train from Ontario. Once it gets here, we'll get on it. Hey, Zach, like the X5, would you know when the hybrid may come to Canada? The hybrid is here now. It's here now. Do you think this current Sonata is the best generation or the previous? I would say the current one is probably the best overall car because you get so many features in it. I don't like the look of it. I just don't think it's a good looking car. But I would say, you know, the features, the screens, the interior, the comfort, all of that is fantastic. I just don't like the look of it. But that's okay because if you don't like it, you can go over to Kia and they'll sell you one. Any word when the Ioniq 5 is coming to North America? I don't know when it is coming, but it is. You just have to wait. The Kia Sorento hybrid is now on sale here in the U.S. Is it available in Canada yet? I'm not sure when. If it's good, like someone would have to go on the website and look, but it is coming. It's just a matter of time. So if it's not here, it's imminent. What do you think of the new Atlas? Which Atlas? Are you talking the Cross Sport or the Sport Cross, or whatever the hell they call it? Whatever name they came up with, it sounded backwards to me. Sport Cross, Cross Sport. Is that the one you mean? Because there really isn't much new about the Atlas. Can you talk about these burning Hyundais? What have you heard? I think it's more than a recall issue if your car catches fire. Well, if you own the car, it's certainly more than a recall issue. This is affecting older cars. It's not affecting the new cars. It's cars that we now, within the last 10 years, you can go and do a search to see which models are affected. But it's something that they have to get ahead of because that is not a good PR thing to have hanging over your head that your car could catch fire. That's for sure. Hey, Zach, will you do a review of the Buick Envision? Yes, I have it booked. Let me have a look at my calendar. When do we get it? The Envision, we get it the week of April 3rd. So not that far away now. So I'm just checking about... did I miss a super chat there? I apologize if I did. Seeing if I missed one. I apologize if I did. Okay, I gotta find where I was. I apologize. All right, here we go. What do you think about the 2015 CX-5 front-wheel drive with 87K for long-term reliability? Okay, when you're buying a 6-year-old car with 87,000 kilometers on it, you're buying the previous owner's commitment to maintenance. So please, any vehicle that is 6 years old, doesn't matter if it's a CX-5 or not, is please get it inspected, have a mechanic look at it to give you a state of where it is. Please do a Carfax report for whoever's selling it. Get the VIN number. If it's not a dealer, get the Carfax. Make sure it hasn't been in any accidents, and get it checked out. So any car, if you maintain it regularly, should run well. So I mean, 87,000 kilometers isn't a ton. So yeah, I say if it checks out with the mechanic, go for it. The 2022 Outlander comes with all-wheel drive as a standard feature during their base trim. Do you think that car manufacturers will follow Mitsubishi? Well, we're already seeing it for the most part in the sedan side. We're seeing more and more all-wheel drive cars, like the K5 is all-wheel drive, the Ultima is all-wheel drive. We're seeing all-wheel drive now in Camry, even Avalon. So I suspect because most people buy all-wheel drive, there's only going to be front-wheel drive on the base model just as a price point. And some people do go for that price point car. For example, you get a Ford Escape, for $28,000. But if you want the all-wheel drive, it's going to be $30,000 or $31,000. 90+% of people will get the all-wheel drive, but some people are just dominated by price point, so they'll go for the front-wheel drive. But we're starting to see this more and more and more, is that all-wheel drive seems to be what people want, so I can see other brands deciding to simplify their lineup and get rid of it. Should I wait for more range of EV vehicles? You're talking about how many are available in the marketplace, or the range of or the actual range you get to drive? I'm guessing you're saying is there more vehicles available? A lot of these cars that are coming this year are not really widely available yet. So the ID4 isn't widely available yet. We don't have the new Ioniq from Hyundai. The Ford Mach-E is really not available in Canada yet in big numbers. So I would say that time is on your side. If you're not in a rush and you want an EV, there's going to be more and more and more vehicles coming to the marketplace over the next little while. That if you're not in a big rush, I would wait. Because the people that want them, sometimes you have to wait and get on a waiting list to get one. So you're not going to get any discount on the price, and you get the rebates, that's for sure. But I don't know. There's going to be so many electrified vehicles hitting the market year after year after year. So if you're not in a rush, it's probably best to wait a little bit. Hey guys, you make great videos. Your screen says Bronco Sport instead of Bronco. Yes, because it's a Bronco Sport. There's the Bronco, and then there's the Bronco Sport. There's the Bronco, then there's the Bronco Sport. That's an Escape. That is a Bronco Sport. The Bronco Sport is based on the Escape. I live in Mexico and I drive a Peugeot. It beats in quality and looks many premium SUV. Is Peugeot coming to USA and Canada? I believe that is not happening, and I wouldn't bring Peugeot. You got to have a dealer network that's willing to support it. And if you look at the Stellantis group, or formerly FCA, you know, they had dealers invest in Fiat. How did that go? Not so good. You had dealers invest in Alfa Romeo. How did that go? Even less good. That's not even English. So who's going to build these Peugeot dealers? The guys who invested in Fiat and Alfa Romeo dealerships are going to say, oh, give me a Peugeot one too? I just don't see it happening myself. Will a new electric truck eliminate heavy-duty segments? One size fits all. Well, there's a lot more to heavy-duty than just the powertrain. All right, it's the chassis, it's the suspension, it's the towing capacity, it's the brakes, all those sorts of things. I do understand what you're saying, because with the electrification and the torque that's available from electric motors, it can do a lot of pulling, but a lot of it comes down, first, the size of the vehicle. A heavy-duty truck is bigger than a regular pickup truck, but a lot of it comes down to the chassis. I'm always surprised by how little Teslas are in Toronto. The last few times I go to Toronto, I always pay attention to see how many Teslas I see on the road. And I agree with you. I mentioned this last time I came back. A big part of that is the rebate. The Ontario government got rid of their provincial rebate. And lo and behold, people don't want to spend as much money on a car. Isn't that shocking? So I'm not a fan of rebates at all. I don't think that we should be giving money to individuals for personal transportation. I think that's just a stupid idea. I think that we should be putting the money into things that benefit everybody, and for me, that's transit. Transit, transit, transit. You want people to get out of their cars and reduce their emissions, give them world-class transit systems, and they will use them. Go to any city that has a world-class transit system, and people aren't in their cars, they're on the subways, buses, trams, and trains. That's what they use. Go to Tokyo. There's very few cars on the road. Tokyo has a population of 37 million people. You go downtown Tokyo, there's delivery trucks. Everybody takes mass transit. So I'm not a fan of giving somebody $8,000, $10,000, $15,000 so they can go buy a Tesla. I say that money should go into buying new buses and new subways. That's just my thought. Why Mazda doesn't have a touchscreen, it would sell better. Well, depending on which vehicle it is, some do have touchscreen. So we just did the CX-5 video last week, and we mentioned this, that some Teslas, some Mazdas have the touchscreen enabled when the car is parked, and some do not. But it's frustrating. That's a good point. I hope car manufacturers listen to many dislikes about the 10-2 heated steering wheel. That is annoying as hell. You pay for a heated steering wheel, but it's only heated here. It's not heated all the way around. And people say, well, what does it matter? It's only heated there. Because you go around a corner, you don't just touch it in 10 and 2. That's why. VW Taos, do you like it? What is a good budget line center helper? Not sure the last part of that, but yeah, we're getting the Taos soon. It's going to be around June. Looking forward to driving it. 1.5 liter 4-cylinder engine, so that is going to be interesting to drive. And the Taos on size is actually roughly the same size as the last generation Tiguan. The original Tiguan has basically the size of the Taos. So Volkswagen's being quite clever. So in each category, they're going to be one of the largest in that category. So in the new small SUV category, Taos is going to be one of the biggest. In the compact category, Tiguan is one of the biggest, if not the biggest. In the midsize SUV, Atlas is arguably the biggest. So they're sort of doing plus size for each category they compete in. It's pretty smart, because when people go shopping, they like bigger vehicles. They like more space for their family. I would absolutely not buy a 3-cylinder 1.5 liter engine. Get something bigger and work the engine less. I'm kind of with you on that. My midlife car is a Focus RS. That's a cool car. Saw one yesterday. He was driving by. He had some aftermarket exhaust on it. Sounded good. Here's a good piece of intel. Type S pre-orders are starting on Wednesday. There you go, if you were looking for a TLX. Do you realize that you spelt Bronco wrong? No, I didn't. It's the Bronco. The Bronco Sport. Oh, that's embarrassing. I did that just before we went on the air. I did it quickly. So I will change that. Not to worry. That's just a picture that I use for the cover. The Bronco Sport. Good one. How is the Hyundai Kona? Read reviews about issues with the dual clutch and their transmission in general. Do I need to consider buying their extended warranty, as I'm not sure of their reliability? I'm a big fan of the Kona. Hey, listen, if you don't want the dual clutch, buy one without it. They have two transmissions. So if you're really worried about that, just get the less powerful one with the CVT and have that instead. I would still take my chances with the dual clutch. Got my RAV4 Prime for a few weeks, fully charged. The battery is fast, but hybrid V mode feels kind of slow. Do you feel that when you were test driving it? Well, Austin, unfortunately, we only had the car for a few hours that day, because each reviewer only got the car from 9 until 3 in the afternoon. This is generally the case when you're getting rid of that extra boost of electricity, that you're relying on a heavier car to do the work, right? So I didn't notice it too much, but we were also driving up a mountain. That's another thing that we had as a disadvantage, is we were driving up one of the local mountains, so it was really hard to tell. Got a bit noisy though. Will hydrogen cars become a legitimate player in the industry? I think we're going to see hydrogen cars for fleet use, probably. Makes sense for a fleet. Like if you had delivery vehicles running on hydrogen, that would make sense. Justin is saying, Wrangler 3.6 or 2 liter. The 3.6 is very reliable. FCA or Stellantis now has a winner with the 3.6. I have never driven it with the 2 liter. The feedback I hear is a lot of the Wrangler crowd actually like the 2 liter. So go on to a Wrangler forum, there's going to be several of them, and find out what people who own these vehicles, what they think of it. If it was me, if I had all the money in the world, I'd get the diesel personally. But if it wasn't the diesel, I'd probably get the 3.6, just because the 3.6 is a proven, reliable engine. But ask the people that have actually driven and own the 2-liter what they think. What are good driving options under 30,000 with good driving performance? What are good options under 30,000? Well, I don't know what you're looking for. A car, an SUV? I think one of the best cars on the market for right around $30,000 is the Civic Si. Only sold with a manual transmission, though. That is a great car. Hey, I really liked your XC40 review. I have a 2022 on order. Should arrive this summer. Oh, I'm glad we helped. Hello from Venezuela. Nice. That's so cool. South America on board. Hey, Zach, I'm old and too slow. I was considering a used Honda Clarity. Prices seem low. Any comment? I think it's amazing technology. The Clarity has actually very good range. It's a big car. It's bigger than the Accord. I wish they had made it into a hatch and not a trunk. It's got this weird, I don't know if you've been in it, but you actually look through this little plastic thing at the back. It's a strange design. The looks of it, I think, I saw one just 2 days ago driving by, and I thought the same thing I said in the review. Like, you can do aerodynamic, but you got to steer clear of ugly. It's not a pretty car, in my opinion. So it's large, it's comfortable, it's got nice equipment, and it's got all those things going for it, and it's got good range. However, not particularly it's not attractive at all. I wish it had it's got a good sized trunk, but I wish it had a hatch. And your comment that the depreciation, like, that's the worry. What's it going to be worth in a few years? Is a 4 or 5 year old Clarity going to be worth anything? I don't know. I'm paying $400 on gas every month. Would an EV save me bucks? Hell yes, it would save you money. Absolutely. Should I lease a 19 Q60? Is it a good first car? Yeah, if you can afford that car, that's a pretty sweet ride. I drove a Q50 recently. This is a Q60. I know it's the 2-door, but I drove the Q50 recently when I was back in Ontario for a shoot for Motoring TV. I had one for a few days. I actually really liked it. I hadn't driven one for a while. I was like, that's a nice car. Now, sure, the center screen maybe not as quick as others, but there's a lot of value there. So yeah, have it checked out and see what kind of deal you can get. Sorry, I'm scanning through some of these because some I've already talked about already. Andy's predicting Tesla's market share will plummet in the next couple of years. Better value alternatives and very poor build quality. Well, we're going to have to wait and see. Hey, I'm a big VW fan. Any idea why other markets, even those like Australia, get so many more models of SUVs than North America? They have the T-Cross, T-Roc, short wheelbase Tiguan, and the Touareg. Okay. In Australia, I know this because we were in Australia for the World Rally Championship 2 or 3 years ago, and we were told, because we asked the same thing, because when we were in Sydney, we got a chance to drive the Scirocco, and we asked, how comes Australia gets the Scirocco and Canada doesn't get the Scirocco, and the car market in Australia is smaller than it is here in Canada? And the reason is that Volkswagen in Australia are importers of cars. So it's not a direct, what's the word I'm looking for? A direct subsidiary of Volkswagen AG, the German head office. So Volkswagen Canada is a direct subsidiary of Volkswagen in Europe. Australia, they're importers of cars, which means they buy anything that Volkswagen has to sell and bring it into their marketplace. Now, they also charge a whole lot more for their cars than we get here, for example, in North America. So just go onto the Volkswagen Australia site. Yes, they have all of these really cool cars. So they basically go a la carte. We'll take this, we'll take this, we'll take this, which is really cool. They get those cars, but look at the prices. In order to import those cars into the Australian marketplace, they have to charge a lot for them. And Volkswagen Canada, as a subsidiary of the European arm, or Volkswagen AG, has to be cost competitive in this marketplace, and prices for those cars just wouldn't fly here. So yeah, it's really a shame, because I love the T-Roc. I'd love to get those R versions of cars. I'd love to get more station wagons, all those sorts of things. All right. Let me see if I missed any super chat. I did not. So I just want to say thanks to everybody that gets their questions in. I don't get, obviously, to all of them. We have a lot of people on board tonight, which is great to see. Over 350 people on board. So what's happening? So the Bronco Sport, also known as the Bronco Sport, will drop tomorrow. I will change that. You will see when it goes out tomorrow. That'll be fixed. And thanks for letting me know. I did one also with avocado. I misspelled avocado. I never said I was smart. So that's going to drop tomorrow. And then on Saturday, the Defender drops. Pretty cool. We went driving it in the snow. Andrew was driving it in the snow. It was a lot of fun. So thanks to everybody that's here. Don't forget, sign up to Car Cost Canada, become an expert member. Use the promo code MOTORMOUTH to unlock all the extra savings. And I will see you next time. Have a great night, and talk to you then. Bye now.